As applications are now open to lead a 40 Days for Life campaign in the spring, I wanted to give you a great example and some inspiration and maybe even a few laughs as I do a tribute to my dear friend, Chris Slattery. Chris recently lost his longtime battle with cancer. He was a New Yorker. He started a network of pregnancy resource centers decades ago, Expectant Mothers Care. Those are throughout all the boroughs of New York City. He then, of course, brought 40 Days for Life to New York. I visited Chris's abortion facilities many times over the years. Chris, for everybody who knows him, the reason I'm smiling as we mourn his loss, he's hysterical. He is just a crazy New York Irishman who absolutely loved Jesus Christ. He loved his Catholic faith. He always talked about the emphasis of, yes, saving the babies, but saving the souls of the mother. And he always had a great sense of humor and a great smile. He was absolutely a joy to be around, and he was a fighter, and he fought cancer until the end. To show his sense of humor, recently, the last time I saw him, as he's been battling cancer now for years, he wanted to have a cigar with me. And so I was like, Chris, should you have a cigar? And he goes, what's it gonna do? Give me cancer? You know, and so he's just like, he always had great perspective. And I think that is so important for all of us as pro-life leaders, for those, all of us who are in the pro-life movement, who volunteer in the pro-life movement, who work in the pro-life movement, to always have a great sense of humor and keep things in perspective. Chris's situation was very, very difficult. New York City has always been very pro-abortion, always very hostile. He faced many legal battles. He faced constant harassment. And in one of my visits, I think it was actually 2009, I went in to Queens. This was, I think, my third visit to New York. My first was in the Bronx, where Chris started at Dr. Emily's abortion facility, a notorious abortion facility. But after he brought 40 Days for Life to the Bronx, he moved to Queens, and he had a very unique situation with these two abortion facilities. There were, I think, 7 abortion facilities total, and it was called Abortion Row. And you can just hear, I took this video on my cell phone, not an iPhone, in like 2009, but this is Chris explaining the abortion situation in Queens.
Hello, this is Chris Slattery reporting live from Queens, New York, where we are standing right now on Abortion Row, which is the longest strip of abortion clinics in America, where abortion is literally hawked with business cards and flyers by hawkers in front of these abortion mills. Right behind me are 2 side-by-side abortion mills here in Queens, where we have staked out one of our 2 sites for the 40 Days for Life of New York City. Our other site is in the South Bronx. We have been here for about 30 days, urging women in Spanish primarily to choose life, and reaching out to many thousands of passerbys. You can see flying behind us in the camera. Upstairs are the 2 abortion clinics, and they are literally side by side upstairs with their doorways on either side of a Dunkin' Donuts, which is open 24 hours. So there's a lot of activity here. There's even drug sales going on an ongoing basis right here. It's amazing, the corruption. In fact, there was a murder when we first started our first 40 Days for Life. Right days before, there was a shrine set up on the spot where we put our table. Days before our first 40 Days for Life here, a murder right on the spot over the drug dealing going on here. It's a somewhat risky place. We want to be on the front lines of where abortions are taking place.
Yeah, he had these 2 abortion facilities that were separated by a Dunkin' Donuts, and one of them actually closed. Both of them closed for a while, but it was such an amazing story. And he has it really, really rough. My wife, Mary Lisa, and I and the kids have been praying for him. We got word that he was near the end, and they had called in hospice. And so I told Mary Lisa, I said, we need to to pray for Chris Slattery. And she just looked at me and grinned and said, I don't care if you live in a village of 2, because that is a very famous video that 40 Days for Life put out years ago when we were building 40 Days for Life. Chris was a huge advocate for people leading 40 Days for Life campaigns. And honestly, when he signed up to lead, I couldn't believe it, because the guy's running like all these pregnancy resource centers across New York. He was constantly doing everything in the pro-life movement. And I'm like, does he have time to lead a campaign? But not only did he lead, he was always out there. He was always praying the rosary. He was always recruiting volunteers. And he did a video for us where he said, it doesn't matter if you live in a village of 2. And Mary Lisa remembered this. I mean, that was the first thing she said. I don't care if you live in a village of 2. And we will now share that with you. This is a great video of him talking about the persecution that they get in New York, but encouraging you to trust God and to either not just lead a campaign, but participate in this beautiful effort to save babies, which he saved tens of thousands of babies, to save babies and ultimately to save souls. Enjoy this video, and please pray for Chris, his family, and we lost a tremendous, tremendous, dedicated pro-life warrior. Chris, take it away.
We have tough circumstances here, but I can tell you this: if we can do this here on the front lines of the abortion capital, none of us have been slugged, put in the slammer, yet none of us have been knocked out, none of us have had blood drawn. So don't tell me you can't do this. I don't care where you're from, I don't care how small your town is, I don't care if you live in a village, a population of 2. You can do this. We can do it here in the abortion capital of America. You can do it in the heartland of America. Get out there. Go to 40daysforlife.com. Get involved. Lead an effort. Join an effort. Save lives. Pray for souls. Make a difference.